Hey, this is Rick Kasalich, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. Now, I wanted to go through in this video how to get knee pain relief from running that lasts. And there's 5 things that you need to do, and the first 4 are effective exercises that help you overcome knee pain. And Jenna's going to go through the first one, and then we'll go through the other 3, and then I'll go through the last point, which is important when it comes to running knee pain free. So this ends up being the first one, looking at doing a single leg quad stretch. So you're lying on your side, you're straight from the front, you're straight from the side, you're grabbing the ankle, pulling it towards the seat, you're looking for a light stretch in the front of the thigh, and it might even carry on into the hip. And then I'll get you to relax, and then go into the stretch one more time. Now, if you're not feeling much when it comes to bringing the heel towards the seat, what you can do in this position, you can bring the knee back. So focusing on bringing the knee back, and that'll intensify the stretch in the front of the hip. Good, and relaxing. Now I'll get you to stay there, Jenna. One modification you can do if you have knee pain when performing this exercise is instead of bringing the heel towards the seat, you can just go to 90 degrees here and then bring that knee back. And what that'll end up doing is you'll end up focusing on getting a stretch in the front of the hip. It'll be less stress on that knee joint, but you'll still be able to stretch out the hip, and that oftentimes the stretch will carry on into the quad. So that's one little tweak that you can end up doing. Now, a common thing is with people that run is they end up having tight quads and tight hip flexors. So this stretch ends up being important, especially if you sit lots, if you're not really working on your recovery before runs, you end up having a buildup of tightness in your quads and in your hips. So it's important to kind of release things and relax things, and this one stretch ends up helping you do that. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, with this one, we're doing 1 set. Repetitions end up being 2, and I would say alternating back and forth on each leg. Time, a good 20-second hold, looking for a light stretch. So the intensity is looking for a light stretch in that quad or in that hip. And we went through 3 different ways of doing that single leg quad stretch. Now moving on to the next exercise, it ends up being single leg raises from chair. So we're going to use this box, this plyo box, as opposed to a chair. But what you should have commonly around you is a chair. So Jenna's going to demonstrate it. Good. So you're sitting on the chair, looking at starting position, sitting on the chair, sitting on the edge of the chair. You got your hands to the side, kind of bracing yourself. You're nice and upright with your upper body. You're going to tighten your abdominal area. You're going to lift that foot up. You're going to straighten that leg, and then you can bring that leg up as high as you can, and then come back down. Good. And then we can go the other side, lifting it up as high as you can, and back down. Now this one ends up serving 2 purposes. One is to strengthen the quads, plus it'll also strengthen the hip flexors, but mainly we're targeting the quads. Also, when you get near the end position, you'll get a good stretch in the hamstrings depending on what your flexibility is. So you end up having a nice dynamic stretch in the hamstrings when you do this exercise. So looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets are 1. Repetitions end up being 5 on each side. So you can do the 5 on one leg or alternate back and forth. The intensity ends up being light, and the time is a smooth, controlled movement with a good stop at the top position. So good 1 second, and then returning back to that start position. So that's the second exercise. Moving on to the third exercise, it's going to involve utilizing the Monster Band, which is this small resistive tubing. And we're going to go through a Monster Band shuffle. So you have the tubing just above the knee. You're going to move from one side and drag the other leg. Good. So Jenna stepping to the side and bringing the other leg and constantly keeping resistance on that tubing. Shuffling, yeah, one way and then shuffling the other. And always keeping tension on that band. With this one, we're targeting the side-to-side stability in the hip. So muscles that we're targeting is like glute medius, and glute medius is a key muscle to help stabilize the hip. And a lot of times with people with knee pain from running, they have poor stability in the hip and a poor activation, endurance, and strength of that gluteus medius muscle. So this exercise ends up helping target that muscle. And looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity for this exercise, sets end up being 1. Repetitions, it's more of a shuffle. So you're going like 5 times one way and 5 times the other. You can just go through that once and see how it goes, but you can also progress it up to like 3 times each way. Time, smooth, controlled movement. And the intensity, you want to feel it in your hips and your glute medius area when you're doing this exercise. Okay, now moving on to the 4th and final exercise. This ends up being the monster band half squat. Good. So looking at the starting position, you're standing. We have the band just above the knees. Jenna's separated her feet and they're about like hip width apart. And she's going to squat down and back up. And she's really working on keeping the knees out to the side, having the knee over the foot, and squatting down. So we're working on the tracking of the knee, but also working on strengthening the hip. So this is another one that targets that outer hip area or glute medius area. Perfect. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity of this last one, sets end up being 1, repetitions end up being 5, time, smooth, controlled movement with a quick stop at the bottom position. And with this one, we're really targeting the outer hips area, glute medius area. You'll also end up feeling in the muscles around your knee and the muscles around your hip, which is what we want. So there you go. Give those 4 exercises a go if you're looking for a couple exercises to help you overcome knee pain from running. Now, another tip to remember when it relates to running is looking at your footwear and also looking at the running surface that you're at. So making sure that you end up having the proper footwear for yourself, and that could end up being looking at the cushioning, looking at the stability of the shoe that you end up using. So take a look at that and see if you're utilizing the right type of running shoe for yourself. Also looking at the surface that you are running on. So a harder surface like cement puts a lot more stress throughout the body, specifically the knee. Also, if it's an unstable surface, if like trail running, that ends up putting a lot more stress through the body as well. So look at softer surfaces than cement, like you can end up running on like bark mulch or on gravel. And also look at how flat that surface is. If it's unstable, try more of a stable flat surface compared to an uneven surface like a trail running trail. Okay, so give that a go. So those are 5 tips to kind of help you overcome knee pain if you have knee pain from running. Now, if you want some of my other best tips and tricks when it relates to overcoming knee pain, what I recommend you do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks That Fight Knee Pain and Tightness. Just click right here. Let me know where to send that report and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, or smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will be exercisesforinjuries.com/knees. Let me know where to send that report and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And lastly, hit subscribe to get future pain relieving videos.